Yo guys, Daily Kamel here, and I'm coming to you after Battle Phase. Declan Akaba has just released, and quickly let me show you guys how to get him before we talk about the character. So you have to complete the third episode, special episode, which requires you to have a total of 340,000 points to unlock its condition, and you have to complete the last episode. So get 340,000 points in the event using that farm deck video that I showed you earlier, and unlock Declan Akaba. So I am going to get right into it. We're going to hit up his Levelup Rewards. The first one is DD Savant Nicola, level 6, scale 8. You cannot pendulum summon monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can discard one triple D monster, then target one level 6 or lower DD monster you control. It gains 2,000 attack. Now, I think this card is going to be pretty much only good if it is used with the monsters from the structure deck EX, and even then its pendulum effect is not even like a thing. It just makes them stronger. Next, its regular effect: if it's in the pendulum zone is destroyed, you can target one triple D monster, return to the hand. If you do, place the two DD pendulum monsters from your extra deck in your pendulum zones. It's okay, but you know, of course, you have to have face-up pendulum monsters in your pendulum zones already. And is this card really worth playing? It doesn't really get you any resources from your deck or anything faster. It's just like a pendulum manipulator on the field. Not good enough. Takes up space. And next, disgustingly enough, dude, Puppet Master is a level up reward for Declan. When it's tribute summon, you pay 2,000 life points to target 2 fiend monsters in your graveyard. Special summon those targets. They cannot attack. Oh my god, dude. This is terrible. I hate that Konami is doing this. They're putting event cards on characters' level up rewards now. And this is just terrible. Waste of a spot. Next, we have Triple D Stone King Darius. This is a Earth rank 3 Xyz. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, then target one Dark Contract card you control, destroy it, and if you do, draw one card. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can detach one Xyz material, make this card unable to be destroyed by battle, destroy the opponent's monster that battled it after damage calculation. If you do, inflict 250. So nice. That's a pretty good battle effect, making it invincible and destroy whatever it attacks into. Just a generic pop. Pretty good. Honestly, I think this is like the best generic DDD effect extra deck monster that you can go into. 2 level 3 monsters, so it's gonna be pretty easy. You can use like DD Lilith, you know, any of the level 3, you know, Night Howl, not Swirl Snipe, he's level 2, to summon this guy, and I like him better than any other new DDD card that we've gotten, to be honest. I think he's the best one. We've also got DDD Human Resources. Shuffle 3 cards into the deck, any combination of DD monsters in your hand, field, graveyard, and or DD cards in your pendulum zone. Then you can add 2 DD monsters from your deck to your hand. I guess this is more effective if you're shuffling out pendulum zones as 2 of the main cards, with cards from your deck to your hand. But if you're just doing stuff from your hand, it's totally not worth it. You lose a lot of resources, so it would be best if you have like 2 savants that are like, they have their levels all weirded out and stuff. I mean, their scales all weirded out, so you send them back to the deck and get new scales. But other than that, this is not good. And yeah, that is it, dude. His level ups are just play sets of those 3 cards. And I gotta say, Stone King Darius is the only notable card here. The rest of them are really bad. You're not going to play them. Stone King Darius, he is pretty interesting though, and he'll definitely see play at 1 in a DDD deck for sure. He's worth going into. So we're going to start with his base skill and move across his exclusive skills. He has Balance, Beatdown, and Master of Fusion, and Swing into Action, Pendulum Summon as his generic skills. So King of the Underworld, this is his main skill. Begin the duel with 1 DDD Doom King Armageddon in your deck, so it adds a card to your deck. In addition, you can have 2 DD Pendulum Monster cards in your Pendulum Zones, if you have them. The following effect can be used once per duel. Add 1 Doom King Armageddon to your hand from your deck or extra deck, then return 1 card in your hand to your deck. So it's just like a Gaia effect. You return, as long as you have DD Pendulum Scales, you return any card in your hand and you get Doom King Armageddon. Hopefully you have the scales to summon him, and you can summon him right after that. So this is pretty effective at getting out the boss monster, and in that sense, I think it's going to be better than any of the, really gimmicky skills, just because it does that. If you're playing free-to-play DDD, this is really good. So if you begin the duel with a deck that contains 12 or more Triple D monsters or Dark Contract spell traps, you get Pendulum Zones. So that is very, very nice, the ability to just have Pendulum Zones, and you're definitely going to adhere to that condition if you're going to play the skills so you get the most effect out of it. So you need 12 Triple D monsters, but you're going to be playing a lot of Dark Contracts as well, so you're not going to need as many as you think. Maybe like Dragon King Pendragon and Armageddon and, maybe a couple others. Alright. So next we're going to start from the top and work our way down. Amnesia of the Savants. Negate the effect of DD Savant Galili and DD Savant Kepler in your Pendulum Zones until the main phase of your next turn. This skill can only be used once per duel. So these Pendulum Scales have effects where once per turn they increase their Pendulum Scale and Savant Kepler lowers his Pendulum Scale. And this is a mandatory effect that must be activated, but this skill will negate them, but only one turn, once per duel. So it is very, very limited in its usefulness, and I don't think this is going to be worth a skill slot. So next. Black and White Contract. Can be used by sending one face-up, a Dark Contract card on your field to the graveyard. Select one effect from the following and apply it to one DD monster on your field. This skill can only be used twice per duel if you begin the duel with a deck/extra deck that contains no monsters other than DD monsters. So you can make a DD monster a tuner, a level 4 monster, or a level 8 monster. So immediately, this skill right now does not have much usefulness in Duel Links, only because all of the new DD support that we've gotten is really pendulum focused, and this skill is really focused at preparing a DD monster to become a tutor, or prepare it for an Xyz summon of a rank 4 or rank 8. We only got one rank 4 Xyz monster, and we only have access to 2 synchros for the DDD archetype. So as we get more support in more main boxes or event cards, this skill will become more useful. It's one of the standout ones. It does not have a harsh requirement. You just send a Dark Contract that maybe you weren't using or something, and then you are able to modulate any DD monster. Something to note, you do not get Pendulum Zones, so this skill I think is probably looking to be the best skill for the Synchro Xyz variant of DDD that will become optimal or will become more playable in the future as we get more of those cards. So Black and White Contract in the future is going to be good, so pick that up with some skill chips if you can. Alright. Okay, next we have Command of the Doom King. At the beginning of the duel, add Pendulum Zones to your field. The following effect can be used once per duel. Select one Doom King Armageddon from your hand and add it face up to your extra deck. Then select up to one DD Pendulum monster respectively from your field/deck and place it in your Pendulum Zone, but its effects are negated. At the beginning of your next turn, return all cards in your Pendulum Zones to your deck. This skill can only be activated if you begin the duel with a deck that contains 6 or more Triple D Pendulum monsters, including 1 or more Doom King Armageddon. Okay, so this skill lets you take a Doom King Armageddon that you already have, so you do have to open the card naturally. It does not help you open the card, and then it lets you put it in your extra deck so you can Pendulum Summon it, and then you put any DD scale from your deck into your Pendulum Zone so that you can complete your summoning conditions for Doom King Armageddon. So you're getting any DD Pendulum monster that you want to your zone, so to your Pendulum Scales. So you would obviously pick one that would, work with your other one that you have out, which would allow you to summon DDD Doom King Armageddon. So this skill is very good. I think it helps you get out the monster very well. And the only problem is I wish this would add Doom King Armageddon to your hand. I feel like it would be a lot better if it did that. It gives you Pendulum Zones, and it gives you an immediate way to summon Doom King Armageddon. But I wish it searched it. 3,000 attack beater, the ability to summon it immediately is nice. But, I don't know. You can kind of see where I'm getting at here. DDD is really just looking like a big beater deck, and I don't think that is enough for it right now, for it to get anywhere past where it's currently at. Right now, DDD is pretty good at being a big beater deck, and just giving us the ability to a different way to summon big 3,000 beaters. I mean, it's fine, dude, but it is not what I am personally looking for DDD support. Next, we've got Contract Procrastination. Can be used at the beginning of your turn if you have one or more Dark Contract cards on your field. Skip the standby phase on this turn. Wow, and this does not say once per duel, twice per duel. This is going to happen every single turn you have a Dark Contract card on your field. You can skip the standby phase every single of your turns that you have a Contract Procrastination. That is absolutely insane. So I think I heard that you should try this. I think you should try this with Stromberg, right? If you play it with Stromberg and you skip your standby phase, it doesn't have to banish 10 from your deck face down. Dude, people can try some really nutty stuff. This skill totally cancels out certain decks, win conditions, Metaphys, Weather Painters, Fire Kings. These decks rely on the standby phase to operate, and you are skipping the standby phase by just having a Dark Contract card on the field. So this is a really good way to counter those decks. Maybe put this in your side deck if you're playing DDD. Other than that, dude, Stromberg DDD. I'm looking into it, bro. Stromberg DDD. It's going to be tier 0. Alright, next, we've got DD King. All Triple D monsters you control gain 500 attack until the end of the turn. This skill can only be used once per turn and twice per duel. If you begin the duel with a extra deck containing a total of 12 or more Triple D monsters or Dark Contract spell traps, add Pendulum Zones. So, okay, so this is viable in both versions of DDD. And it is essentially better beatdown. Beatdown at its best in DDD was you giving a 900 boost to 3 monsters once per duel because you have 3 high-level monsters. This, at its best, is going to give you plus 500 attack instead of the better plus 900 bonus attack. It's going to give you 500 attack twice per duel, and it's going to give you Pendulum Scales on top of that. So this is, beat down specifically for DDD. I don't know how much you're going to get use out of this, but if there's no better skill that comes about, and, Doom King Armageddon is not necessarily amazing, I think the current DDD deck might pick up using this skill. It's just better, more versatile beatdown, and you get Pendulum Scales, so you can add Pendulums if you want. So I don't think that skill is too bad. It's pretty decent. Emergency Contract Laundering. This is from the event. Very interesting. Send a Contract Laundering or Dark Contract to the graveyard and destroy all face-up Dark Contract cards on your field. Then increase your life points on the number of destroyed Contract cards by 1,000. I think I read this skill already. This one is really bad because the best part about Contract Laundering is that when you destroy your Dark Contract cards, you get to draw the same number of cards you destroyed. And this skill totally ignores that and only gives you life points. Like, dude, you need to be getting cards back to your hand when you're losing that many resources. So this is a totally trash skill. So next we have End of the World. Can be used once per duel by revealing 1 Triple D Doom King Armageddon in your hand to your opponent. Add 1 face-up Triple D Pendulum monster to your hand from your extra deck. Until the end of the next turn, you cannot special summon the card added to your hand by this skill, or cards with the same name except by Pendulum Summoning. And you cannot activate their effects. In addition, the following effects can be used once per turn on the field. The turn you summon 3 Triple D Doom King Armageddon at the same time from your hand. Destroy all monsters on the field except for DDD Doom King Armageddon. Alright, and then you get Pendulum Zones for playing 12 or more. So this skill is absolutely insane. It is ludicrous that they would actually put something like this into the game. Basically, you reveal a Doom King to add a already destroyed Triple D Pendulum monster from your extra deck. Not even from your deck, from your extra deck. So it has to already be in play. So you get that back to your hand, and then the monster that you add back has to be Pendulum Summoned. And then, if you do Pendulum Summon 3 of Doom King Armageddon at the same time from your hand, destroy all monsters on the field. So that means your Doom King Armageddons, they have to be in your hand. So you have to utilize them all at one time to get the full value of the skill. None of them can be destroyed. None of them can be sent to your extra deck for any reason. They must all be in your hand. And I guess it works out because for this skill, you don't have to send it off. But, dude, that is crazy. They're basically saying, like, you have to go through the mini box 3 times in order to get the full value for this skill, because it also does not add Doom King Armageddon to your deck. So you have to straight out buy 3 Doom King Armageddons or get them with gems in order to play the skill at its full effectiveness. That's a yikes, dude. No thanks. Alright, so a couple more skills. Return from another dimension can be used if you have 20 or more banished DD monsters. Place 1 face down, return from the different dimension from outside of your deck. During the turn you use this skill, you cannot activate spell trap cards. This skill can only be used once per duel if you have DD monsters in your extra deck. So hold on, you can't even use this card to turn it to activate it. But return from the different dimension. Pay half your life points to special summon as many of your banished monsters as possible. During the end phase, banish all monsters that will special summon by this effect. But the fact that you have to have 20 DD monsters banished is ridiculous, dude. That would mean you have to be playing to even reliably get this off, you'd have to be playing a 30-card DD deck and have already gone through several extra deck monsters and have them be banished somehow. I don't know how you are banishing those double D monsters by using them again and again with like Night Howl and Necros and Swirl Slime as materials. That is just bizarre to me. 20 banished. That's ridiculous, dude. Of course, the card Return from the Different Dimension is a really good card, but 20 banished is so ridiculous. Like, and they even pre-nerfed the skill to make it so that you can't activate at the turn, or you can't activate any other spells and traps the turn that you activate this skill or this card. So, dude, this is like this skill is totally gutted, totally unattainable in a regular duel, dude. 20 banished DDD monsters. Get a grip, Konami. Alright, last one. Reverse of the Underworld and Different Dimension can be used once per duel if the number of the DD monsters in your graveyard is the same as your banished DD monsters. Banish all DD monsters in your graveyard when you use this skill and return all of your banished DD monsters to the graveyard. Okay, so I believe you're just swapping out you're swapping out your graveyard and your banished pile of DD monsters, and that's whatever, dude. I don't know, like it lets you reuse like maybe your really good ones like Night Howl and Swirl Slime and your ones of the grave, your Lilith again. It'll make those usable once more. Like, I guess whatever, dude. So I think the best skill that we read was Command of the Doom King. You know, moving around this guy and giving you the scale you need to summon it, I think is probably the best. But the King of the Underworld was not too far behind it. Begin the duel with this card, and then, you know, you just get to add it to your hand if you have DDD scale. Searching your boss monster is just as good as putting the conditions out to summon him. As for really interesting future skills, dude, Black and White Contract is going to be good when we eventually do get better DDD Synchro and Xyz. Right now, we don't have them. We didn't get any new really good ones, so this is not a good skill right now, but it will be in the future. I think so. As long as we get that support, dude, because this is bare bones as hell. And the other thing is contract procrastination. There's going to be some pretty disgusting stuff that comes from skipping the standby phase, I think. I hope people really experiment with this. That Stromberg deck, dude, someone try it out. Someone bring it to a tournament, I believe. I believe the Stromberg DDD is a thing. But other than that, guys, I am kind of disappointed in the release of DDD in Duel Links. You know, this was the thing that people were really hype about. It was the first Declan Akaba was the first character they announced. They had a whole presentation for his character and everything. And, you know, Konami just did not deliver on what the archetype needed in order to truly become more powerful. You know, I don't think that the archetype increased in power whatsoever. It did not get any more powerful effects. It got some more useful ways to search, but, you know, it's still just... It has not increased in power whatsoever. It's still not a very good rogue deck even. And, you know, the likes of the meta decks just absolutely run over something like this. There are various ways to remove DDDs and halt them from being able to, you know, pendulum summon or establish a lead. It's still just too great. The deck has not improved at all. You know, there's freaking Puppet Master in the Levelup Rewards. Come on, Konami. Like, this was the main character for people to be hype about, and I feel like they really fumbled it. Like, there's nothing really for people to get hype or excited about in Arc 5 world right now since they botched Declan Akaba. So, I mean, DDD is getting it to be very expensive, dude. So, the next place we're maybe going to see more DDD cards is going to be a main box. And, like, I can't imagine that they're going to go overboard with super powerful cards in a main box, dude. So, you know, I'm thinking that DDD is going to end up like Photon or something, which I hope it doesn't, but that is where it's headed with Declan Akaba, dude. So, sadly, I am not too hyped for DDD. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think DDD is dead on arrival? Do you think DDD is dead on arrival? Or do you think there's still some hope for the archetype left? That's going to be it for me, DDD Kamel, and this concludes our Declan Akaba Unlock content. Peace out, guys.